What an incredible response there from Loud. They were down, but definitely not out. I'm Jinggg, and I'm back here with Sean and Doug. I never thought in a million years that Paper Rex on Split, Sean, would only get 2 rounds. 2.
That was all less. I mean, that was literally a legacy game that he just put up. Unreal, 21 frags at half. The way he just kept them in that game, even the opening pistol, the first blood going Paper X's way, they take the smokes out of the comp by catching Tui's. And immediately Les responds back with 3 sheriff kills, shooting the bodies. And you just know it was on at that point.
Yeah, dude, you could tell from the very beginning that he was poised to like drop 30 or something outrageous like that. He had such a good start, and you even think about some of the very crucial moments that he had on Lotus not going his way. It just really felt like he was due. I think it also helped that they started on defense.
Yeah, I mean, casual.
Or on attack, excuse me.
Casual 424 ACS, another day in the office for Les.
Bro, that was better than the highway sign. Remember we talked about it at the beginning, and we made jokes about how that would never happen, right? There's no way someone has an ACS higher than that.
Yeah, I mean, that was, like you guys said, a once in a lifetime almost. I mean, having said that though, Les, we have seen him put up performances like this before, so it's not even an anomaly when it comes to the caliber of Les.
No, and I think Les has had a really good tournament so far, right? Like, he's had very insane performances in a situation where you think about the roster and the turmoil that it was in leading into this tournament, who's going where, when do contracts end? Somebody had to step up, and Les has been a rock for this squad.
Yeah, and he did what he's been doing all season long, right? Play this Killjoy. He split his time probably between Killjoy and Viper throughout VCT Americas. But when he did play Killjoy, I believe he had the highest ACS in all of VCT Americas with the Sentinels. And it's just insane what he did on this comp. I mentioned it in the pregame segment that typically you would have a Viper or a Cypher getting that A-ramp control. The way it operated was they would use an Astra smoke to mask the cross, and how they won the bonus was just Cowanzine and Les going over to A and fighting. And they did that several times. They would put the turret up to hold the flank, and in the other rounds, he would read it perfectly when aggression was coming his way and call pounces on the B side.
And I think they were beneficiaries of the fact that there wasn't much of it, right? Like, I think the composition for Loud did such a good job at effectively having garage control at the very beginning that Les could play a little bit further back, and he was going to farm the way he was going to farm. And sometimes you dial up aggression because you realize if you're Paper X, hey, we're not winning this garage fight. Something with the op is not converting the way we need to. Let's hit somewhere else on the map. And that's where Les just tees off.
Yeah, it was just a masterclass there from Loud. But also throughout this tournament, their pistol win rate is absolutely incredible. Of course, they won both pistols here as well, and it's 16-8 currently.
Dude, that's
ridiculous.
Crazy. That's reminiscent of the EG run, in my opinion, in Tokyo, where if a team has that kind of success rate on pistols, it's probably because they're really popping off mechanically. And those are the type of teams that make deep runs in events. That is a very good sign for Loud.
Well, and that's a conversation we were having at the beginning of the show, right? Like, we know what Loud is capable of in these pistol situations. We know about how valuable it can be to win a pistol and get a streak going, knowing that it's just 12 rounds and a half. It's so massive for them, and if Loud can continue to execute on those, I think Pearl could go the other way, and that's mad for me to say, given the fact that at the beginning of the series, we were talking about how if you don't convert on Lotus, you're in trouble. But if they can continue to win those pistols on these, like they did on Split, do so on Pearl too, you got a shot at this, man.
Okay, let's talk about Pearl, because in the beginning, when we saw the map vetoes, I felt like both of you were leaning more towards Paper Rex in this one.
That was just Sean.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. I was
definitely leaning Paper Rex, because I thought Pearl would be the map they would pick, actually.
Yeah.
That's how I perceive Paper X's Pearl, with the Phoenix Jet combination, the way Jinggg plays the Phoenix, the control they have over A main consistently, and how they use, yes, I'm not even trolling, the Blaze Wall on Phoenix. I swear, they get so much value. On defense, you'll watch him cut attack hits in half. He'll drop it from default on A site, so you're coming out of A main, and there's fights happening on the left side of the wall and the right side of the wall, and it causes so much confusion.
I will say this, though, for Loud, and this feels like we're going all the way back, right? Like we're taking a time machine back into a different era, but you got to think about the very beginning of VCT Americas, Cloud9 was running a Phoenix on Pearl.
That's true.
Right? So it's not like they're entirely unaware of how that plays, and sure, Jinggg can offer a little different spice to it, but it's not something they've never seen before. That said, I still think you're right. 3-0 on Pearl in this tournament. They do things differently. Something is still the player that we know he's going to be, so it's not just a walk in the park just because they've seen it in the past.
I mean, for PaperX, so is it as easy just to stick to what they usually do, their game plan, in order to win this after what we saw on Split, or do they have to change something up?
I think they might have to change stuff up, but it really depends on the comp up, Loud decides to run here, because they ran a breach previously, and it didn't work out too well for Sadok in that game. But clearly he stepped up his breach role after that last map. I don't think Les could have been as successful as he was without dominant breach play coming out of Sadok.
Agreed.
So can the breach control A main against this double duelist Phoenix? The Phoenix has a pre-molly lineup. They're grab-welling the entry, and he's curveball flashing around by the orb. And no one has been able to stop this thus far on both halves.
Yeah, it's just so clinical. I would venture out to say, though, I don't think PaperX need to change anything. The reason for that is it reminds me a lot of how Lotus played out and how it was just scrappy and it was just gunfights, and Loud wanted to take that fight, right? They wanted to just go toe-to-toe with them and see how it panned out. And again, there were very critical 1v1s that didn't go their way. So if you're going to play into this chaos, of Pearl with the Phoenix in there, you've got to be able to win those, and that's a difficult ask.
Well, we're about to find out as we head into the Prime Gaming Agent Select, of course. Loud, they pioneered the Viper Harbor. They were running this so much on Pearl, and they decided to move away from it. So I can't wait to find out and see if they're going to move back to it. They are not. They're going to stick with the breach. What do you make of this?
No entiendo, dog. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't get it.
So I actually would not have liked the Viper Harbor against PaperX's style. I think the way I see Jinggg take A main, this Breach Fade combo is one of the only things that could stop his speed, especially like the long B play he does, where he's just full sending it up long B, curveball flashing around the corner on defense, of course.
Right.
And
I think this is a great comp to absorb aggression, just like what we saw in Split.
Yeah, we finally get Aspas on the jet going up against something, Doug. I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, actually, I hadn't even really realized. We've talked so much about Les and Devi and all the other playmakers, and I'd forgotten that we hadn't had the jet against jet duel.
So what I think Sadok is going to be doing here, and I think I saw him doing this earlier, is he'll fault line all the way to A main from Link to stop this push.
Oh, we'll see if he's going to pull that one out. It's time for our third and final map of this series. Of course, the winner moves onto the upper bracket final, and the losers will have to go through the lowest by facing EDG tomorrow. Let's send it back to Bren and Saisho for the call.
Big repercussions on the line here for our final map of this series, Loud versus PaperX. And yeah, an unusual comp, it's been the talk of the town about what Loud is playing as well, but might just be that perfect answer towards the aggression. Sean was touching on it, about how A main control loves to be played for when Jinggg is playing hyper-aggressive with his flashes.
Yeah, I actually really like this comp. I think despite the fact that they lost 11-13 to RV, I think the ideas here were brilliant, and it's specifically the stun-sun combos. Now, thinking about where Sean was talking about Sadok being positioned, though, in B-Link, he has this stun line that goes through Art over towards A main with Pull's potential. Now, if you smoke off the positioning that Aspas is playing here, Sadok becomes a bit of a weakness, and it looks like PaperX might be headed towards that.
We'll see how they manage it. Over the top, yeah. He's just watching for all this utility that's getting sent flying. That little nano swarm as well, just to beat it out of them.
Okay, so they push Sadok back and make him worried. That means the breach is going to be less viable with the utility.
A lot of damage done. Less real danger there, potentially going down to the dog, but no, he escapes it still. They want to just try and dash up onto these players as well, catching them unaware. Less.
Wow.
Brought down. He was really just corralled and pushed into mid.
What a fantastic anti-strat. Excellent dismantling of how Loud like to play this by going through to mid and pushing everyone out of their favored positions.
He smokes a cheeky Kawazine close to the corner here, tucked into it. There's a jump spot and clear. 1 for 1. That's all he'll get. Regaining control of A main. No one towards Ard here, tucked towards the site. Devi is really just left to his own devices. Everybody into the back of the site here, holding the utility in there. Had a bit of run and gun with the frenzy. It's not really doing enough here. They're smoked off. Devi, he needs a bailout. He needs it right now, yet still stunned up. Lands the shots, only the 1 for 1. It's replied by Aspas. Smoke's now propped up once more, and even more damage than a tap onto it. You've got to force out this utility. There's the pull.
This is worrying.
2v2. Real chance here for Loud to take control and more. Trying to get this one on. The spam is not there. No bullets left at all. It's all Loud with another pistol round.
That is unreal. Absolutely unreal. I think PaperX's ideas in that round were a lot better, and yet Loud still come out with the win. And the individuals just turning up, Aspas in particular with Sheriff in hand, able just to hit body shots consistently to chunk these players down, and a lovely headshot there onto Mindfreak too. When Sean was talking about teams being red hot in terms of their form and their individual skill, and that being the biggest issue with the pistols, yeah, sometimes Loud have amazing ideas, but here, they just outskilled it. And Paper X, they're going to go for the force. They are not happy about losing a pistol round, but they did get the plant, and they got 3 kills.
Keep flash away from the angle now. Aspas has to respect that one. He doesn't have a gun in his hands. I mean, he's saving the operator into next. I'd be wishing he did invest into it. Look at this overwhelming pressure applied into Sadak and brings him down into the back of the site. Doubled up, collected. Not a kill, but a bit of damage being done. Still, the plan needs to be there, and it's just being spammed down by less. Put down with the trade. Holding towards the top of the site. Just a bit of a tap now, but Device starting to finally stick and commit to the plant. Bit of walkabouts from Jinggg, close to the corner. There's a flash in his face. They might have just given up a little bit too much, but still, Aspas was brought down.
Faking the jump.
Yep, faking the jump. Already, yeah, Forsaken was hot on his tail.
That's a big round, a big call. That takes a lot after you've just gone down 13-2 to lose your first map at Champions, to go for the gutsy decision of forcing that up and sending it. But it's the overwhelm here with the pace that just caught Sadak completely off guard. That's why I was a little worried about actually on split, and yet Sadak always had somebody in front of him to catch that aggression and slow it down so that he had time to use his breach utility. That, I think, could be a key difference maker on this map, if they can find Sadak without that player in front.
What has got an operator?
Why is it? He's forced the hero off.
There's no way you expect this one, but a flash still connects anyway. He's pushed off the angle. There's no way they're anticipating this. But it's all about if he gets value from it, and he does!
But he's going to get stuck,
Striking back, stuck to the corner, needs to be used to clear him out! But it's too little, too late!
No way.
Aspas, talk about red hot form, man. This guy, burning him to a crisp.
Almost getting tagged down, 19 health. Forsaken trying to open up some space on the site.
Saw being watched for, and he's not landing the shot there. I mean, Kawazine should not have been favored.
That's a big miss from Forsaken in terms of trying to create that opening.
What an insane call.
Forsaken individually did not do too well on split. Maybe feeling the after effects of something like that. I can't believe the confidence to go for the force buy round 2 from Paper X and then the hero operator from Aspas, and not even playing it in a position where he's half committed and could save. Playing it, you know, dashing back into screens, a spot where he has to be bailed out by the rest of his squad who only have pistols. It's mad, but they're in a 5v2.
Weak enough there that there was a chance for spam damage to do the work for Devi, but no, it's a 5v2. I mean, it's just no world.
No, there's 30 seconds left. Unless they had that kill on Kawazine already and could find some kind of opening,
it's done.
It really does feel like it.
So he's watching out towards sewers. No help needed. Time's going to be running all the way down. It has to be a save at this point, but I just cannot believe the sheer insanity of Aspas buying the hero operator.
Nice. Bladestorm online as well. Economy swings drastically in the opposite direction. You see teams go for the bonus round up a lot, and they're not too worried about losing it because normally you're getting close to getting your Bladestorm online, something like that. You take a look at the replay, he's still 2 away from it here. Yeah. You know, he needs at least a kill and a death in order to not have ruined his team's economy. I guess he's not too worried about giving something an op on the attack side, considering the pace of the Paper X play out, but that is just incredible, the call. Now he's going to look to get posted up towards B with the breach utility, and we see finally this big clash in A main. Yeah. Loudon not going to be able to fight for this one as heavily though, because the stun isn't there.
The pull and the flash is all combined as well, posturing them away from the angle. Aspas though is going to be getting a lot of information throughout the middle portion of this round. Paper X, they seek to try and go somewhere else. Look at they might be heading.
Fake, but this is really early. The rest of Paper X are not in position.
Wall dodges the horn here. I mean, there's just a ton of players grouped up. This really does feel like the whole lot running at them.
And they're going to commit back over to A. They're trying to find anybody that was baited into a bad position. Paper X looking like they've overcooked things here potentially, but they have made it into the site.
The smokes divide up the site though, and they haven't cleared out towards the backside of pit. There's a lot of spam damage, but no kills, real connection happening. Still, plan is down. Post plan granted and gained. Aspas not fast enough with the movement. Tried to make a play for it, happening still. Curveballs right in their face and wide. Jinggg with the reposition now, taking this time in for himself, regrouping the rest of his team. It was impossible really for Loud at this point. They don't have control of Art, don't have control of main. Smoke propped up though with Divide falling. Suddenly a chance. Kawazine collecting all sorts of kills, but a rifle for Jinggg. Doesn't collect the second one, doesn't get it. Started for him, a tap onto the defuse. Mindfreak with the most to do. And he is brought down just in time.
That is a mad round again from Loud. An absolutely mad round once again. It feels like PaperX get themselves into really good post-plant positions, and we saw this actually on Split a couple of times, Lotus a couple of times too. And yet, it's the way in which Loud are able to double face from high-low setups on the fly. That to me is one of the most impressive factors, along with the fact that Kawazine and Les are just winning duels everywhere. But the team play, the way in which Loud are facing on these retakes, holding, you know, 2 or 3 of them posted up in A main, ready to punish. That's what's missing for PaperX. This time, the stun is there, the suck not used. Loud choosing not to commit too heavily because Les is there with his Killjoy utility.
Right, this is a half by round for PaperX. They don't want to slow it down. Not just yet. Alarm bot broken. Side divided enough that they can potentially go for the plan here. Bit of a tap as well. Pull after shot. Knife into the corner. Sadak getting cheeky with it. Body blocked the nanoswarm actually. Still planted down here. Bit of friendly fire. Bit of damage being done to the Device. Still holding close to the corner. Now here's the Nightfall. Scatters through. And the bullets finding their mark and more here. The complete collapse of PaperX.
That is absolutely unbelievable pressure applied from Loud. I know there's an economy advantage, but frankly, the guns didn't even make the difference. It's the utility coming through. There's a nanoswarm at default, so they know they can't plan. Aftershock stops them from pushing the right side of default from defender's perspective. Another nanoswarm was about to be committed on the other side, and then Les decided to use it to clear out the corner. Nightfall pushes them back. Op is there. Nanoswarm in the corner picks off another. There's just constant pressure being applied at all times to these PaperX players.
This is what you get.
It feels too easy.
Yeah, when you play against a team like Loud, when they come into their own form, right? Heading into this tournament, the rumors about their death greatly exaggerated before heading even into the tournament.
That is so true.
And
yet still, their opening game, they look like they're in the same kind of form they were in Tokyo. Now maybe we're going to look back and look at the match later on, and DRX are going to absolutely blow everybody out of the water from here on out. But I feel like Loud stepped up even during this tournament. And it feels like they have plot armor, honestly, Brent.
Yeah.
You think back to last year, they are the defending champions. They lifted Champions Trophy in 2022. But the way in which they did it, they bombed out in Copenhagen. And yet we're then able to go on the run towards the end of the year. It's the exact same story. Finals in the first tournament, bomb out of the second, making a run towards the trophy in the third.
Getting lazy with the writing.
It's plot armor. And Loud have taken down everyone's tournament favorites Fnatic on the way to this spot. And after, I think, feeling like they got robbed on Lotus, have just come out with fire and fury here on Split and Pearl.
This is it. Yeah. PaperX. I'll put a stop to this now with all this momentum on the side of Loud. Drop down into mid. There is those weaknesses into mid as well. You know, you don't have the util. It's going to be watching.
I definitely agree. I feel like Sadak and B-Link are big weaknesses for the way that the Loud defensive setup works.
Spotted one player, but yeah, they had to give up control of mid as a result of this Sadak.
This is very reminiscent of overtime on Lotus. Alex takes the timeout and they go for a contact push. Will Loud read into it?
So much danger now, especially with that Prowler getting broken. Kawazine's going to be away, he's making a call for it. Still got Aspas holding down that one angle, straight down to B. Long angle, flashed wasn't there. Seekers all the way up here. Shot fired, rattle, something inside of the smoke, just barely an edge, a glimmer, a pixel legged into it. Damage is being more than done. The kills are collected, a corral, but he can't get out of there with the movement.
It's a nice stun from Sadak, but he ends up getting caught there. And it's a 2v3.
Smoke's fading, plant.
Forsaken is so committed. He had a lockdown. If he was able to escape, might have been able to play for that one.
I said he's the lone player towards back halls, unless he's still watching.
They have a star for a pull on the spike. Mindfreak's in a great spot, miles away.
Does feel like Loud. Surely they don't do this. Surely not. What a kill. Good duel to win Divine. Swinging through is okay. Right through. I mean, through the smoke. Second round though for PaperX.
And another nice one coming out the back of a timeout. These tactical timeouts are working. Alex is getting some good value off the rounds that they're calling once they can take a moment and pause.
Yeah.
Forsaken on the pinch back through. Being able to have outsized impact and avoid getting caught in back hauls. The timing between him and Devi, pretty excellent on that. But PaperX is still on the back foot here. And something's pulling out the attack side operator.
And that one back. Picked it up. The corpse of Aspas, but he's also reinvested one of his own in his hands. This time, looks like this is the way they want to try and plug up the gap in mid for those contact pushes. Just slap Aspas on there with an operator.
That makes sense. I don't think PaperX are going to contact into this spot though, having done that in the previous round.
Oh yeah, Nanoswarm is very nice. Pushing them all the way. Sadak. Good timing with the stun.
The Nanoswarm lineup and Jingg's Molly landing at the same time to clear out corners where the flash wouldn't connect. It's excellent from PaperX. One of the reasons why they've been 3-0 on Pearl here.
Chance for Aspas. Jump spot. They're worried about him.
Just the narrowest jump spot as well.
Yeah.
Trying not to give even a finger away to Aspas.
We've seen it. Does he hit the shot? Flash waiting for the very final moment. Does dead, but he's tucked to the corner now. The rest of PaperX starting to make their moves over towards B-Long, but time is starting to run pretty short here. 35 seconds left. Tucked to the corner. With the ultimate, running it back into their faces, colliding and collapsing. Kawazine cannot withstand it. The ult's taken out, but another shot missed and wide. Lockdown. Really putting the pressure in the heat. Turned all the way up. Aspas with an opportunity to do something absolutely incredible. Coverage is there, but something might just be a little bit better. Time though, still burning off the clock with one player left. 2 years is taken out.
PaperX have found something that's working for them. These B splits. Or even in that situation, sending everybody down B main. Getting themselves in spots where the ultimates can end up doing the work. The entry off the Trailblazer is also fabulous. And it pushes them into such deep post-plan positions, you know, puts the pressure on Aspas and Sadak with the lockdown in backside. PaperX used a lot there, a huge amount. But they got the round they needed.
Keeping the attack side on. Running up into their faces. Stun on the Prowler. An attempt to catch onto the players. I mean, hoping for the stun.
Yeah, wise from Aspas, though, to back off once he realized that nobody got caught in the fault line.
A good read by PaperX once more, realizing that, okay, with that amount of emphasis being placed by Loud over towards B main, it can start to, again, contact lurk the way into mid.
And now Aspas and Kawazine are going to go for this repeat.
Oh, it's mistimed.
Yeah,
I think that was a flash as well from Sadak.
Yeah, just a team flash.
Yeah. Lambot broken. They've already taken up that ground. All the way pushed up through. I mean, not watching for it. Not worried about it. Curveball around the side. Flash, no connection here. Still, it is a really precarious spot for these Loud players to be into. How would they deal with it? How would they handle it? Forsaken. Tucked to the corner now. Nice. He is spotted, yeah.
Too close to the corner.
Damage is done, and Aspas! It's getting all of them back, man. Infinite money trick, all with the Blade Storm. He's never running out.
This was another round, actually, where PaperX got themselves in a position to win, though. And then they just fumbled it back. I mean, they completely caught Loud off guard in terms of that push into spawn. And if they tried to consolidate their position after that, I think they would have been in more of a winning spot. But because their ideas have to be so unorthodox, and they're constantly improvising on the fly and calling audibles, things are getting too chaotic and too scrappy to find those moments to return to sanity. And Loud still find that brilliance.
Yeah, it's the rock-steady discipline from Loud. They're not letting the chaos take over into this map. And on an individual's basis, Aspas, 14 kills right now, looking for even more. There's the dash. Knows that they're trying to poke themselves up onto the ankle, but nothing to clear it. If you walk up onto him, he will rip your head straight off.
And the timing is excellent right before Art got compromised. Because PaperX are getting into a nice position for this A split. But Aspas and Kawazine holding hands, looking to hold strong.
Updraft into the side there eventually. A connection with the blades finally with Aspas falling. A chance potentially there. Sadak, yeah, I mean counter spam. Not for just the one kill. Will the plant get off still? Sadak seeking to deny, using the ult. Was there that connection? Did it?
I think it did.
Tag, yep, stun. Pushing them away here, but still with 50 seconds left. So he might even just call as well. A bit of a rotate wraparound, but no, still Forsaken committing to this one. Something has to try and hold on to this one. One knife left. No longer.
The flank around the back.
Spent all of them, and this flank is important. Mind Freak coming now, round to the side. It's watched, but not really on the timing here. Sadak. And everyone tucked into the corner. Stun and run and gun. Something! No way! Did not receive the kill, 2 years. That is monstrous. He's found himself into the 1v1, but surely he doesn't win it.
Almost
it's all working against him, man. A tap onto it, something onto the corner, 36 health. No bullets left, something. He won't finish it off.
Paper X rounds will never end quietly. Just never. Even when it looks like there's an impossibility for Loud to be able to win, it's still got into a sticky scenario there towards the end. Feels like a little bit of hubris perhaps from something there.
Look at this, man. He's colliding while spraying.
There's just no thought in his head that Tuiz might be able to win the 1v2 against the rest of his team.
Oh,
and yet, something still managed to clean this up. Both Jets are at the top of the scoreboard. Aspas v something, the first time that we've seen them clash on the Jet head-to-head. It's been a delight so far.
Galvanizing.
Difference in the defensive setup. Alarm bot put over towards B link. So that means nobody has to watch there. Paper X are countered if they try and go for some kind of contact play in that area.
Broken for something, still locking down this angle at the same time. Aspas is on the opposite side of the map. I mean, he's going to be getting a lot of information for Loud. That's why you're seeing the heavy rotation, stacking it with 3 players. Close to the corner, that's Sadak with a judge. Inside the smoke, now playing inside of it. This could be brutal. Pellets of it. Going to be ripping them to pieces if they pick their timing incorrectly. And there it is, all popped off. Jinggg out wide to the corner. Straight in. Something was there with the shorty play. Still, players moving up now from Art, trying to link themselves together. Do they know 2 years is back here? Chance to deny, poking out wide into the corner. Everybody falls. Aspas, last one left, and he was watching the flank the entire time.
And Loud also have very little money. Paper X have kept these rounds close and made sure that Loud get punished. All of the players dying. Aspas really needs to keep this operator online.
He really does. Did he hear the footstep? Definitely hears it, sees it.
Has big economic damage, but at the same time, we're headed towards the end of this first half. And Paper X have the cash to be able to work with.
I'm just in disbelief at how they've managed to bring this even.
But at the same time, Brent, Paper X have actually been excellent ever since like round, I'm not exactly sure what it was, like round 5 or something, of being able to take map control. They're actually just taking huge amounts of map control at the start of all of these rounds. Yeah, Loud are not fighting over A main control particularly. They're not doing that stun-suck combo that we were talking about. And they're also, Paper X, being able to bully their way through mid. You know, they have so many tools to be able to take this map control early on. And Loud are just giving it to them. And that means that Paper X are getting splits into B and splits into A whenever they like. That's one of the reasons why we see Paper X versus EDG, for example, having just massive team fights over A main control at the start, because if you give Paper X the space, their comp is excellent at splitting. Here again, Art has nothing for the defensive team. I mean, not even any information.
No player, no turret, and the 4 position of Aspas. I mean, he's just popped up into the choke.
So at this point, they're relying on Aspas to be able to find some kind of kill, back off and play retake, perhaps even with the lockdown. But Paper X, once you give them space, they're going to start working their way into weird spots, go for lurks, go for over pushes. These retakes are not as easy as you might think them to be.
Here's the updraft. Aspas almost hitting that one. A strike back! Jinggg will fall.
Loud needed to be in a favored retake scenario.
This is it, surely. Something close to the corner here. Flash.
That's not great.
No punish.
Here.
Everybody towards the back of this side. They've given him pit control as well. No one's watching this from Paper X. If the timing is awkward here, Paper X could crumble. It's really all on Forsaken, and they're just trying to play up close as well, trying to hit these shots here. It's going wide with the Guardian spam and the spray down. Lockdown has to be brought down on top of it. Spray through. Definitely awkward, definitely scrappy. Updraft to escape the ire and the fight. The shots miss. Let's run out of bullets. It's up to Aspas. Damage done to a multitude of targets, but he cannot hit the flick in time. PaperX taking the lead in this first half.
This is what I'm talking about. If you give PaperX the space, they're going to be in all sorts of weird avenues. They had a player lurking through water there. They had a couple of players pushing flowers. Loud were not ready for those hits. Their players weren't even ready in terms of the amount of bullets they had reloaded into the chamber. 2Eves was trying to control the flowers push, but they certainly didn't realize that they had two players ready to flank around behind. Even after Aspas set them up into a 5v4, Loud have lost their control on Pearl. They have lost control of this map.
Not enough money for the operator anymore, not for Aspas. The slow beginnings of the attack side operator has been working out.
Aspas had knife in hand there, looking, I think, to go for some kind of jump peek, but instead holding pretty. This looks like Sadak's going to be holding some kind of flash for Aspas to peek off.
You should run.
Cues or something. I mean, the lockdown, this corner, you cannot withstand this. Aspas, you've got to reposition here. Does he wait until the very final moment to try and strike back here close to the corner? Tucked, it's a flash in his face. Dash is there. Looking for the kill. Noah has to respect it. There's a molly at his feet. He got detained anyway. Two players out of the fight. Critical ones at that. I believe that was Sadak. He's not going to have the U-turn, but now they do with the Nightfall. Trying to play this one fast and loose all the way into the back of it. Aftershock there. Jinggg moving forwards. They were watching, and there's no shot in hell. Three ripped away. Kawazine in 2 years.
And Mindfreak in a great spot to be able to secure this one. The pull online, almost impossible for Kawazine and 2Eves.
Spam.
Almost.
2 years. Good kill to collect, brought it to the 2 versus 2 with the pull already out of the way on top of it. Smoke in their face, it's a double face, but it's all clean. Safe hands from Mindfreak. The 7-5 finish.
And for the first time in this series, PaperX leading at the half. They came back into this map with excellent ideas coming out of the timeout. Amazing tactical timeout called by Coach Alex. And since then, I feel like Loud just ran out of ideas. They were trying to push the very boundaries in counterplay and ended up getting punished as a result of it. Gave PaperX all the map control and they fell to pieces. Loud held at 5.
Lopsided at the beginning and the end of that first half on either side of these teams, but yet it is PaperX holding that advantage. Able to shut down Aspas. Let's send it down to the desk to hear what they have to say.
Wow, PaperX, they did everything they can to get back into this game, but let's not forget the reason they've had to adapt and do that, Sean, is because Loud's A retakes just looked so good in the first 4 or 5 rounds of the game.
It looked unwinnable. Like, these rounds that they're retaking the A site, the pistol, and then the first gun, the hero up coming out of Aspas. So many big plays coming out of Loud to open this map, and here we are at halftime, and you're thinking, oh, PaperX is in the lead. How's that happen?
Yeah.
They did such a good job of stabilizing after they started making those adjustments. It was out on the other side of a timeout that PaperX just flipped a switch, man. They started to exploit mid control more. They started to aggressively push into their spawn and catch Loud slipping a few times. That caused fits.
Yeah, there was the link play to open things up, the dry contact play that Alex called out of that timeout. And that put a seed of doubt in Aspas's mind the next time they did a B strat, and the ult value from Jinggg. 3 out of 4 of those rounds, they won 4 Phoenix ults that half.
Yeah,
what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you mentioned Aspas because he was having a crazy game to begin with, but something, Doug, just creeped in there and managed to secure some of their most important rounds as well.
Yeah, and I think that's a really interesting thing about PaperX is it doesn't have to be him. It doesn't have to be something every time. It can be a complete performance. Jinggg is having himself a field day on the Phoenix right now, and when you build a roster like that where they can all do it, they can all have massive performances to claw you back into a game to make a tournament run, that's a championship caliber roster.
Absolutely, but I think what now we're switching halves, this breach will definitely be fighting for a main controller. It's all on Jinggg.
I can't wait to see who's going to come out on top for this one. Back to you, Bren and Sideshow.
This is it, wouldn't have it any other way with a 7-5 heading into the second half of this series.
PaperX have only won 1 of the pistol rounds so far, but they were able to force up successfully if you cast your mind back to the start of Pearl. But Loud are going to need big moments from their players to pull this one back to a 7-7. Especially from Les, who's only got 3 kills compared to having 21 at the half on Split.
In a life game before, it's a large face, less lucky. Get away with that.
But great information that he can relay to Sadak in his role as a secondary caller for Loud.
Setting up his kit mid-fight as well with a push already down and out. Here it is, Utah being used to try and push away the plan. They do so successfully.
I think that was an accidental headshot there over onto Sadak, who was just getting the plant down, just using the audio cue, and he got scared off the tap.
It still hasn't been cleared here. What is going on there? Something happening. Eager to take the fight.
Very
running short.
They've done a lot of damage here. Chip damage.
I mean, it's literally a shot in the dark, but it's working out.
And if Paper X are going to be able to win this pistol, it sets them up in awesome fashion to go 4-0 on Pearl.
Aftershock though, this reposition of Forsaken should get punished here, out wide. Util no smoke to save him when he was crossing, but now it's Jingg's turn. Tucked to the corner, doesn't really see them. Here's the curveball off of the contact. Full connection and enough damage done that it is that clean-up beauty.
Still 2 alive. The danger is not over yet, but 20 seconds left. It should be cleaned up for Paper X. The crossfire is good.
Crossfire is more than that. It is excellency. Pistol round, 8-5. Paper X now, momentum's behind them and more.
Only the second pistol that Paper X have picked up in the series, but they're in fantastic position to try and close this one out. The Phoenix just gets so much value here. We've seen other people pull it out too, but Jinggg is stuck with it through thick and thin.
He's 2 away from the ult.
Yeah, and it's the value that he gets out of it is spectacular on this map.
He's going to be fighting for A main control because they want to try and funnel the orbs into him. Get the ult back online. Loud. Definitely group 2. Actually waiting for maybe a chance to punish. There's a stun. Ult by Sadak. Doesn't let it loose. Now he does, ever so slightly.
Stun suck combo, hoping that they'll trap somebody from Paper X, but the reaction was fast. Very good. Les also lost his turret, I believe. Yeah, inside the Phoenix molly. So he'll have to make an adjustment on that next time he's holding A main. Loud are just going to prod around the map, seeing if they can create any advantages. The 2 sheriffs from the 2 most explosive players, you could argue, Aspas and Les, will be trying to do some work.
Alarm bot, real danger here for Devi, yet still collects, delivers a multitude of kills, shutting it all down. A little bit closer now to the ultimate. Speaking of, Jinggg earns his. Les going to be feeling the pressure to really do a lot in this. You know, we spoke about his previous performance. He was having a bit of a life game on Split. Let the charge for his team, didn't make it close. This time,
30 seconds left.
struggling to find the impact. Right here, right now, there's really no chance in hell of him winning a round, but it has to be that step up.
If you recall, it was on the attack side, actually, that Les was able to do all of that work on Split, which is unusual, you could argue, for a Killjoy player. But he was just getting put in positions where Paper X was pushing him, and he was controlling that aggression, and then he'd be put in spots where he was able to benefit in post-plant situations, too. What incredible resilience from Paper X.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
To have been punched 13-2 on Split and have a player have a performance like that against you. Go down, I think it was 4-1, 5-1, something like that to start this out. And then still rally back.
Yeah, a lot of teams would lose their cool in that spot, but Paper X, enough veteran presence on this roster, enough to try and hold their own, hold the ground, rally back, and now look at it, 9-5.
Yeah. And Paper X have done enough here to scare Loud off. Not exactly sure what the call was there, but Sadak has bailed out from the B site. They're expecting an over-rotation.
None of this Killjoy utility has been broken. Nano Swarm should be good to break the alarm bot, it is.
Yeah, that's a nice idea. And everybody rotating over to a very weak site, honestly. It's only Mindfreak here with a single star and one in his back pocket. But already you're starting to see Jinggg, Devi, moving over to reinforce A right as the hit comes through.
Yeah, it's all the space that something's getting as well, pushed up towards B. They know that they can stack this one now with a lot of players stunned. Will be that connection into the corner. Horn over the top. Does reveal, does break it. Jingg's gonna be using his ult though. Run it back. Pushing forwards. It's dealt with. Cleaned up. Lovely aftershock. Mind free. None the wiser here. An attempt to fight through into the back of the site. Flashes on flashes. Who will be favored? Well, the guns. Most definitely enough potentially to sail them through. They need to get this plan down, really. They're finding it difficult to do so. 20 seconds remaining. They're tapping enough to bait Paper Rex out into the open. Handing their lives on a platter here. Something from the side and the back. And it will just be up to him here. Thought it was getting a bit dangerous, a bit precarious, but enough. The old bait and switch, enough to pull these players with Paper Rex out of hiding. So Loud, win another round that was necessary for them.
I actually love the way that Loud played that too. Not committing to the plans because they were worried about the flood defense. And when Jinggg uses his wall like that and it allows somebody to hop up on that, you know, broken down battlement, you've got to respect it. And this shows me that Loud are very ready for the way that Paper Rex are going to be defending the A side. The utility was excellent too, right? The fault line into the aftershock to be able to take down Mindfree, all looks good. The Paper Rex are going to commit more resources to fighting over A. Although, by the look of it, not quite as aggressively. No.
A bit further back. Loud has a heavy commitment though into this. Flashes combined and collected. Attempt to punish, definitely some damage done there.
Yeah, they're reading into the fact that Sadak was one away from the orb. They knew that somebody was going to be going for the ult, be it Sadak or 2Es, and Paper Rex were trying to re-clear that area. Now, where, I mean, a little bit of an audio bait, perhaps, as Sadak fakes like they're leaving the A site. But they're not going to, I mean, something is so deep, he just has all the info on the other side of the map.
He's collecting it all, and he's making a call for his team. And look at this, is Paper Rex trying to fight over this again?
This is
no way to
bold.
finding the timing with the flash, they're trying to push into it! No easy angles. It's contained, but Loud are really just running them down now. Breach shot. Running through with a rolling thunder. Horn's not broken, not taking care of it. Lights Jinggg up, and that's a spammable anger. Dealt with contained here. Damage. Peppering Sadak. He gets away with his life and the plan. So an extension into the round now. We see it divide towards the back of the site. Stand up, close corner. Someone needs to cover for him. It's not possible. Kawazine.
Great composure from Kawazine in that spot, but something's already found one. Could still be winnable.
Yep, could still be, definitely. No shot really hitting there. It's the crossfire set up! Forsaken! You cannot be pulling rounds like that out. I'm just not ready for it. There's no world in which it should be favored. No world.
The win condition there surely is something hitting a shot with the operator on the first peak, and yet he misses that one. Forced to back up.
No
and Paper
way.
Rex are winning moments like this.
Look at this. Look at the positioning in the moment.
Kawazine had such excellent composure early on in the round to be able to grab two, swinging off the back. And it, I mean, the entire story is told there on Sadak's face.
Yeah.
They had a crossfire set up and they just could not land the shots.
And I gotta say, that is just a Forsaken moment.
Yes,
there's
it
no
really
way,
is.
there's no, I mean, I wouldn't even be mad if they showed me the replay again, because in that moment, there's no way he's adjusting his movement to isolate the main fight while he stood on that precarious barrier and doesn't drop off.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It is ludicrous what Forsaken's able to do on every agent he plays too. It's just the absolute, his understanding of the game and the mechanics, unreal. And he's also picked himself up from the absolute ground on Split. He had an awful individual Split performance. They couldn't figure out what they were doing as a team, and he's rebounded to give them moments like this. Everybody on Paper Rex just cycling their time to step up. This is a team that's still hunting for their first trophy. They've made it deep in tournaments before, but this feels like their time with something in the roster. Knocked down on Split, not to skew, could have easily been a 2-0. Look back at the way that Lotus was played out. We might have never even got here to Pearl. Yeah. But Paper Rex, they take the opportunities presented to them, as they did at Tokyo with a sub in the roster, and deliver above and beyond. They've got, again, something holding down B on his own. He hasn't really seen any resistance over on this side of the map.
Pay attention to this. The orb drops off the high ground angle. Horn doesn't connect. He's got the dash still active!
What a flick.
Absolutely no way!
Just a little micro adjustment. I didn't even see it on the screen. It looked like his crosshair was off, and he adjusts it so quickly.
Movement clean enough as well, just to dash backwards instead of forwards!
And he gets another.
Fading away! Something is on one. He's on an absolute 10. It's up to the rest of his team to see if they can open this one up. But they've been pushed into mid. unless it's contained.
You can't fight them all. Something picks them off one by one. Excellent exploration off the back of the distraction that Something was making. And the fact that Something required no extra resources to do that. No player to break the horn for him or to set him up. And here come Loud. The trickles finally coming back through Art. Good damage on the Forsaken, but Jinggg is still here.
Yeah, no kill. Was just baiting for Jinggg, now it's pinged. Yeah, okay. PaperX showing signs that they are willing to slow this one down. That's 2 players spotted. They know exactly where they are, inside the smokes. Held, lovely recall idea by 2 years! But when Jinggg is on top form, be hard pressed to catch him unaware.
PaperX stole control of this map away after the first quarter.
Oh,
When does the crosshair move?
Yeah.
I didn't see it in slow-mo. But like I was saying, PaperX stole away control of this map somewhere in the first quarter, and it's just been theirs ever since. Loud have won 2 rounds since round 6. Two in the last 12 have gone to Loud. It's been absolute dominance from PaperX across the end of the first half and the beginning of the next.
Yeah,
They're getting smoked out here. PaperX's Pearl flexing. This is why the desk was saying Loud had to pick up Lotus. They didn't. Overtime, snatched away, slipped through their fingers. Like the trophy in Brazil. And potentially, like their spot heading forwards towards this upper bracket final, and a chance of being able to get that grand final spot on the horizon with map veto advantage. That's also what's on the line in these kind of games.
and you do not want to be going down to the lowers. You just don't.
There's
Demons
crocodiles down there.
man. Not crocodiles, there's demons down there, man.
Can I get
It
this?
is ridiculous down in the lower bracket.
It was Loud themselves to send one of them down, but here it is, the money short for Loud, and really no breathing room. You just got to win out from here to have a chance. PaperX, different turn and approach here now to the round. They're just contacting up into mid. They hear all of that noise surely coming through into main. Something. Prowler does connect. That's good from Kawazine.
And look at how much distraction Something always provides. You have to commit so many resources to pushing this talented rookie off his angles. And in the meantime, PaperX are sneaking around behind you.
All the way through into the back of it. I mean, the Cosmic Divide causes some difficulties, but they just push through anyway, fearless.
There's still a lockdown and a Nightfall here, and the Nightfall's great to fight these players over in spawn.
Only 2 connection, and
But
it
they're not
does
gonna-
allow. Yeah, I mean,
They're not
Loud
gonna
now
push through their own Cosmic Divide.
Exactly. But only 2 trails here. They know that somebody's there at least trying to take this A main fight with the lockdown. Has to be an attempt to try and push this one back, but it's being defended the entire time, and everyone Loud, they're all collected into the corner, collapsed upon, and with the Odin spam, it's all together. No one knows which way to face Loud. No they have to hold on, and they do.
How on earth have they done that?
No shot.
They were all grouped together, so tightly stuffed like sardines. A tiny amount of space afforded to them by the defensive lockdown, and yet as the rest of PaperX swarm forwards to try to punish them for their compromised positioning, everybody on Loud collected together, holding the angles, comes out on top.
Yeah, missed that one from Aspas initially, didn't he? Plucked something out of the sky.
Sadak knows he's gotten away with it there. So does Fraud.
Yeah, that's it.
They're grouped up together like a New York apartment. They're all stuffed in there. They can't do a thing. They couldn't move. They're shoulder to shoulder.
Bailed out by the individuals.
Bring them down.
And Loud, maybe all they need is a chance. Got to keep it going though, the ball rolling. Fully grouped up again. No hiding their intent with this one. Aspas is pulled. There's an Adam Swarm! It's brutal. Survives on 7 health, still vulnerable, tucked to the corner. He needs some help in the rest of his team. And PaperX really just peppering them. There's the turret! The turret does it! Brutal! It's a heartbreak for Loud, but PaperX. Exultation.
They snap back, and it's not rejoicing on that side. They know that they deserved it from the previous round. This one just righting the wrongs. 12-7. the defensive utility as well.
One enemy remaining.
It's so varied from Paper X. Some rounds they're going to be going for a contact push. Some rounds it's going to be a heavy fight over A main.
They're quirky, man. They're a quirky team to fight. You just don't know.
You have no clue what Paper X are going to throw at you because they have so many tools. And that to me is because they don't play off a strat book. They play off the ideas that they come up with in the moment, built from the building blocks of those micro interactions. They know that, you know, they can bring X to the table, their teammate brings a different quality, and they cook that up on the fly. It makes them an extremely difficult team to read. And at the moment, Loud are finding it too challenging. Far too challenging.
It's one round that stands between Paper X paving the way to a potential grand final. Still one more match to be played before that one, but sailing it through the uppers. They would love it. That's why Loud are calling the timeout now. So much on the line. Not just the prospect of getting knocked down to the lowers, it's the idea of having to fight your way out of it.
And the team that's hunting for their first trophy going up against the defending champions, but it's PRX in the ascendancy at match point, looking to drop Loud down to the lower bracket to face EDG, a team that beat them at Tokyo to start this horrible run of form that they were on just before this.
Bullet sent flying here to Prowler. Received and brought down. A triple face, there was no util from that. Paper X just wanted to take it with the raw gun duels.
Blinded.
Breaking the utility, realizing that there was a gap towards mid that entire time that Loud could have taken up, but we know they haven't.
And Loud are playing fairly slowly, so these fast reactions
Oh,
that
they're
Paper
gonna fight
X
over
are
it
diligent
again.
for, not
They're just
happening.
holding it. Prowler broken, there's no way. Mindfreak is still close to this angle here. Flash is dodged, Horn needs to be taken care of, nobody watching for it.
He was marked.
Yep.
I mean, he had no chance of being able to do anything there, and there goes the smokes, there goes the pull.
Really weird positioning, but it's given him free access now to the lockdown. Loud going to be used as
This is an enormous advantage for Loud to be able to pull things up to 8, but it doesn't mean Paper X are out.
narrow margins is what it lies on. Here it is, run it back, flash through in their face. Anti-flash matters not, lest you will not be surviving, but backside control is gained. It's flipped around, and Aspas is all the way in it, working the mix, but he can't win the fight out against Forsaken. Crosshair wasn't placed appropriately. This could be it. Has to be a moment to be made now by Sadak. He's got the ult in his hands, and he lets it rip out towards Flowers, enough to reposition and back away.
I'm amazed he's alive. He backed up to get a better ultimate and almost gave his own life away for it. Here comes the retake from Paper X.
To Flash. It's just a 1-for-1. It's replied and responded with. Still, the pull is there. 2 years. He's going to be using this one for the first line of things, but now the time is really starting to tick. Flash, not good enough. Talk to the corner. 2 years doesn't win the fight. And it's all on this. Kawazine.
He gives him a lifeline. But Loud had such an advantage in that round, and they were only just able to keep it together. They're going to have to be able to pull another 4 of those out of somewhere.
That's what it takes. I mean,
they don't have those ultimates available anymore. They don't have the lockdown or the Rolling Thunder to be able to generate those advantages for themselves. When Aspas tried to make the play, sure, he's at the top of the scoreboard, but he got shut down.
how do you win out from here if you are Loud? Still one step away for Paper X into mid.
Aspas definitely heard something there, especially as they back away. He might feel like he has a timeline. It's weird to see him on the lurk roll.
Him and 2 years holding a bit of a setup, spotted out onto the both of them. This will keep the Paper X players tucked into mid. Loud. Down to about a minute to work with. They don't have any of that prior control of B main. What do they set their sights towards? It's mid and walking, contacting all the way through, making noise though, jumping down, and Jinggg, what is he holding this one off?
I assume off device contact.
Stun is good, dash forwards as well. There's the punish! Nasty stuff, Aspas. Absolute brilliance on display, but a backstab attack! Defy! He's a menace, man. He's an absolute menace, yet Aspas. He's still there, ready for it, and a decision is made for something. Can't take it into the 1v3, got to back away and save the operator. Has to be one round at a time, and so far, it's been the case for Loud.
these rounds are on the slimmest of margins. Yes, this is a 3v1 where something has to save, but that entry from Aspas was so close to getting punished by the flash. Jinggg, if he'd been half a second earlier, would throw the curveball. I think would have had a chance to be able to take down the entry jet superstar from Loud. Nevertheless, that is 5 chances whittled down to only 3. And every step Loud take is one where they'll start believing in themselves a little more. The economy should be better and better for them. Building back up to ultimates that they can use. But in every situation, it only takes one big play from a Paper X player. I mean, look at that. He's essentially full blind when he gets the first kill onto Jinggg. He just spots him for a moment before the flash connects. And then denies Devi a hero play that would have sent them sailing to the upper bracket finals. There's a tiny bit of frustration there still showing for Alex. But I think a lot of that is the building tension and anticipation for the team's victory that ends up getting burned away.
Sometimes these can be the hardest rounds to convert, though. If you are Loud against the weaker weaponry, you have to respect a lot. Good news for them, though. They're a couple away from these ultimates. Someone's got to deal with that. The horn broken, spam into the corner. Seiken, now he's really trapped. He's going to be util here, surely, to try and clear him out, but the smoke across, he gets away with his life.
And he's still going back for more. It is a weaker buy from Paper X. So they can afford to go for these kind of risks.
This entire time they have just been pushed up here. They have no control of A main. Something's here with the operator.
Yeah, if they start rotating back over, do they clear this jet properly? Oh, the cancel called. They're going back over to B. Loud.
Why are they rotating here?
Maybe not exactly sure where they want to end on the map, but they've just dodged a bullet, I think.
Yeah, but
specifically from something.
Seeker's pointing it to wherever. Okay, Forsaken falls. Loud should be able to get onto this one fast enough, but yeah, there it is. Devi, he was just trying to flood into the back of the site before to try and take that timing off of them. Players holding the cross here, but it should be the weapons to get them through it. The dash and the flash. Attempts once more. Jinggg is so wide with it with the Bulldog. Another flash available. Everyone's blind. And it is really just that coin flip. Something. 1v2. Does he go for this now? Only with the operator. Has the dash, but doesn't know where any of these players are.
What a moment this is.
Tucked together for Loud. It's all about how they shut it down. No damage done. And where is the reposition? 2 years close to the corner. You can breathe a sigh of relief.
Oh. A chance for the young superstar to put his team into the upper bracket finals to win an unlikely 1v2. But he's not quite up to the moment just then. Loud navigate another one of those difficult rounds where Jinggg looked like he was potentially going to do it all with the flashes. He gets his ult back online. There's a lockdown here on defense as well. This could be the most challenging round for Loud to win yet if they want to pull this back into overtime. It's been 3 in a row for the Brazilian side. Paper X have stacked 4 over towards Art and A main.
Still with the operator, stun. It's a good connection. But look at something disrespectful at his core. Takes the peek, moves the turret. Art control still going to be gained here for Paper X, and they have a 4 position. This is again off of device contact. There's going to be a flash. No one's going to be walking in that though. Paper X happy to play retake towards B.
This is a fake with the Nightfall and 2 smokes over towards A.
Something's just calling the bluff, man. Horns in his face here, still holding it down. He actually can't hit a sound cue, so it has thrown a bit of disarray now.
The lockdown!
Lockdown, yeah, this is the key. Piece of utility, and it needs to be a deal. Try and break this one. It's a stun and an aftershock into the corner. Enough damage done, yeah. What are you gonna do? Just tickle it. Stun though, still there. Aspas close to the corner. He's brought down, and this could be it. The final blow, cornered him out wide in the open. Less towards the back. So much more to do here. The reposition and the running back Jinggg. It's disgusting. Kawazine.
He's locked off
now. It's absolutely done and dusted. Blocked off entirely. It's an absolute heroic attempt, but Paper X have done it.
What a magnificent performance from Paper X there. In control of the final map, fending off the comeback. After they got smoked on their own map pick, 13-2 down on split. This series could have very easily been a 2-0 and sailed Loud through in dominant fashion to an upper bracket final where they look like the best team potentially in the world. You know, that could have easily been the narrative coming out of Lotus and Split. And yet Paper X subvert that with magical performances to steal Lotus away, and then a dominant performance again. 4-0 with this Jet Phoenix composition on Pearl.
Looks like they have so many good ideas, but for Loud, the journey isn't over yet. They got pushed, couldn't grab the win today, but another chance of glory into the lowest. That's where they're going to have to fight from.
And they are going to play against EDG Edward Gaming. That is one to keep your eye on, because it didn't go the way of the Brazilians at Tokyo. Fist bumps all round though, as Loud have gone 3-0 against the EMEA teams, but 0-2 against the Pacific. DRX, Paper X on top. And Paper X are your first team to book their ticket into that upper final with something finally in the roster, showing himself, the team in full force.
The scary thing is, man, I mean, talk about individuals stepping up. It's a whole team effort across the board in that final map. Aspas was on a heater. It was 27-14, that's how he ended it. The whole team came together to shut him down. There was moments of brilliance, top to bottom.
Yeah, I really feel like this was a great series in terms of showing the fact that Paper X's roster is extraordinarily stacked and balanced. You know, there are different players that can turn up whenever needed to save a round or to make a play. And that is why they play such a chaotic style, because all of their players can be playmakers if they spot the opportunity to do so. And it's about tempering that. It's about finding the right moments and honing them from being a scrappy team into a team that can win a championship. And at the moment, they look like one of the teams in the best position to do so.
Yeah, the teams that we've got remaining, I mean, man, they are just sailing all the way through as well. There might be a bit of an obstacle as well in that upper finals that they've earned themselves to, but yet to be seen, of course, a bit further down the line. I mean, Paper X's style, good luck getting a grip on it. Good luck getting a hold on it. They don't even know who their IGL is half the time. It's all over the place. How do you get into the heads of a team? And they've got 5 players potentially putting forward ideas. Alex with the timeouts as well that were critical.
Those were amazing.
I mean, they were really critical.
Yeah, they ended up being crucial for them to add different ideas into the mix too. And we saw so many huge moments from individuals. You know, Aspas bailing them out of certain spots. Les having a monstrous performance on Split for Loud. And on the other side, Forsaken had a clutch in a very similar position. I'm sure we'll see later on. Stress and tension on both sides for the coaches and for the players.
Yeah.
And I think when I look at those reactions, it's not so much the exact emotion that's on their face that compels me, but it's the size of it. You know, they are so invested in this match. It's not an elimination game. This doesn't win you a trophy, but it puts you in a great spot. And it's a matchup we've never seen before of Loud versus Paper X. They know how difficult our lower bracket is going to be and how much matches like this mean. This is champions.
Yeah, everything was on the line with this one. The importance from beginning to end as well. I mean, just to speak highly of that mental resilience of Paper X. If you think about it, that second map, I mean, dominated. Absolutely dominated, but it managed to bring it back. First half of Split does not look any better as well, at least the first 5 initial rounds, but the timeout's called and they make the necessary adjustments and they run it all the way back. I mean,
spectacular.
It's insane, and it's the stuff that does make champions at the end of the day.
I'd love to know who on the team was providing that kind of uplifting spirit within the communication to keep them focused in those moments.
Yeah.
I'm sure Alex will have had something to do with it, taking the time out there as well. But you need a presence inside the team, in the roster, keeping people buoyed. It's so easy for a younger squad like this and a team whose star player doesn't have the experience to fall over in matches like that.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Stood their ground, held up against it, took the win now versus Loud, and it's really just celebrations across the globe, isn't it? This win, another forehead signing. Yeah.
Hit a W, just straight on the forehead.
Absolutely. Well, waiting on the floor, we've got Jinggg standing by with a Verizon post-match interview.
Thanks very much. I'm here with Jinggg from Paper X for the Verizon post-match interview. Guys, give it up for Jinggg. Jinggg, you've made runs at tournaments before. You've won a Masters, you made top 3 at Tokyo, but now for the first time at a Champions, you're into the top 3, and you have an opportunity to play at the big stage at the Forum. How does that feel for you after all this time on Paper X?
Yeah, I didn't know we are top 3. I thought top 4. No? Top 3?
Sorry, top 4, yeah. But for this event, right?
Wait, sorry?
I'm just asking you. No, you're going to be excited to play at the Forum, right?
Oh,
in
yes,
front of
yes.
that big crowd. How does that
Yeah,
feel?
yeah,
Because you already have so many fans here rooting for you.
I mean, I haven't seen the other stage, but I mean, this stage, the other stage will probably be bigger, and now there's really a lot of people, so definitely really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see. That was a super close matchup, and it always seems like Paper X is just having fun, chilling out on the stage. How do you guys manage to stay so calm, look like you're so relaxed in such high-pressure matches?
I mean, like, that's what we focus on a lot. Like, we like to play and have fun, and of course, we'll try to win as well, but I think having fun is like the main point, because when we're having fun, everything flows well, and yeah, that's what we focus on a lot.
Yeah, and at all the previous tournaments that your team has done well at, it's always been this duo of you and Forsaken as the 2-star duelist players. But now for the first time here in Los Angeles, it's instead the duo of you and Something. What was it like getting used to playing with him in these double duelist comps instead of Forsaken?
I mean, we just practice a lot, and I mean, it's not that hard to adapt, because like we have like many scrims, so just takes like slightly, like a little bit of time, and I adapt, and yep, I guess it's going well so far.
Yeah, and it has been going very well indeed. My last question for you again, some fantastic fans out for you here, Jinggg. Do you have any messages for them?
I'd like to thank all the fans for supporting us. It really like motivates me and our whole team a lot, so thank you everyone for supporting us and watching our match.
Guys, give it up one more time for Jinggg!
This is for a spot in the upper finals. Loud on their pursuit of defending their title. And Paper X, the ones that have never won a global trophy. And the exciting thing about this is that they're both on form. This is going to be great.
Everything's being thrown at it. It's an absolute skirmish. Almost lined up. 1 HP still surviving. But Loud are still in this one. TPing close. It's messy. But Jinggg, sole survivor. That's the ace.
Oh, and here comes another
He's not
one.
messing around. I mean, there's no time left here. He's got him off the plant. He's buying a bit of time. Here's a showstopper. Has to be committed. Round to the corner. Kill collected. Follow up through. And Aspas to 4K. All hidden, nearsighted, and away. But Paper X seeking it as well. They don't want to give up this space. They want to be jumping straight into them to buy. It's an absolute menace. Another 4-piece, another 4K. He's taken out a remove. Showstoppers there, Jinggg. He's removed himself from the fight. A chance to salvage, a chance to claim it all the way through.
Loud are going to feel like that one got absolutely stolen away.
But this series is only just beginning. It's contained and shut down. Les still here. And it's brought into a 1v1. Timing granted. Get it off really there with the updraft. Okay. Brought down eventually, and they're just trying to help him out. Flooding back into the fight. Loud have got it all, and Les again. That is ridiculous. It's 13-2 for our second map. Loud, what a bounce back. Control of Art, don't have control of main. Smoke propped up though with Divide falling. Suddenly a chance, Kawazine, and he is brought down just in time. Tucked to the corner now. Spotted. He is spotted, yep.
Too close to the corner.
Damage is done, and Aspas! Infinite money trick, all with the Blade Storm. He's never running out. Could still be definitely, no shot really hitting there. And it's the crossfire set up! Forsaken!
Come on, bro!
Vulnerable tucked to the corner, he needs some help from the rest of his team, and Paper X, the turret does it! Brutal! Paper X have done it!
What a magnificent performance from Paper X there. In control of the final map, fending off the comeback. After they got smoked on their own map pick, 13-2 down on split.